Ooh. Oh, guess who's just turned up literally to the second.
Is it Brie Larson?
No. I have to compliment you, Mr. Brown, on that moving music that lowered us into this stream. That's the last time I heard music like that.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Listen, because I love you so much, if you want an intro doing for your channel, you can have one for free, mate, because I love you so much. All right. Plus I've got the template sorted anyway, so we'll sort it, yes. You can have one of those with my compliments, my friend.
It reminded me of the kind of music you get when you're going into church.
Entering
the church of Mr. Brown.
Believe it or not, it's from a 2004 trance track. It was the intro.
Nice.
So it starts pumping after that. So yeah. Yeah.
I see. Before you
anyway, the Mega Geek's here, everybody.
The Geek Meister is here.
The Mega Geek, the one and only Mega Geek.
Mega Geek.
Hello.
All right, mate.
Mega Thursday.
It's a real party.
Mate. It's 4 people now.
It's a 4-way, mate.
Yeah, fantastic. Four.
It's a dream sequence. It's
Plus, we have a viewer, which is probably going to be Sklavko, one of our regulars. So, for the folks at home, I'm Mr. Brown. There's Cockney Spock on the bottom corner. Hello, Cockney. You all right?
Yeah, lovely jubbly.
The wonderful channel favourite, the Mega Geek, bottom left. All right, Ian.
Hello.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And last but not least, Birmingham's King of the Geeks, Mr. Daniel San, Dan Hadley. All right, pal.
Hello, mate. Hello, everybody. Yes, it's good to be here. Good to meet you, Cockney Spock. And yes, as always, good to spend mega time with the Mega Geek. But,
nice.
I was just wondering, that wasn't me that was passing water a moment ago, I promise you. Whatever that was.
That was Cockney Spock, as always, making a tea, I think.
Cockney with the ASMR. Yeah, I've had my tea on the coffee now.
See, the sounds, the channel sounds are Cockney in the kitchen making tea or putting the kettle on. It's like...
And I'm out on the deck now, shutting the door. It's cold outside. Oh, it's cold out there.
Cockney is in New Zealand.
Am I? I am as well. Fuck.
What is the local time?
Local time is midday. No, it's 1 a.m. 08 minutes.
Is it?
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, we're 13 hours and 6 months ahead. It's also
you are genuinely in New Zealand.
Yeah, I came all the way out here just to dispel the Coriolis myth. The water goes around clockwise and anti-clockwise. What a wasted journey that was.
And you got stuck there, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me back out. You ain't going back to the light now, son. You're stuck here, mate. With your ASMR bollocks.
And the rest is history.
Indeed.
So, I'll go to Daniel, or I'll go to Dan, because we pretty much know the other guys, how they've been dealing with lockdown. Dan, lockdown for you, what's that involving at the moment?
It's well, I'm used. The good news is that I'm used to working alone. I worked from home for a while now,
right?
And so I found last year not a doddle, but I found it quite easy. But at the moment, though, I think like a lot of people, I think this third UK lockdown is pushing people's buttons quite a lot on all sorts of different levels. So I am struggling more this time.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure why that is. I'm still sort of working that through, but it is decidedly different. I think everything that we're being told is different too.
Yeah,
and obviously, none of us, despite the fact we have our bubbles and we are in isolation at home, we still have people in our lives, and so you can still talk to the people in your life, your nearest and dearest.
Yeah,
and you can see how it's affecting everybody. And so it's difficult not to respond to that too. So yeah, I'm doing okay considering. but I'm very conscious of the fact that it's a year has passed.
I know.
Very conscious of that.
I know. Are you still working from home then?
Yeah.
Right. You're into design and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm mostly a graphic designer, but illustrator and all that sort of thing.
Are you freelance? You're freelance, aren't you?
I am. I do pretty much anything that's creative. So I copyright, I copy read, in the previous world, in the normal world, I'm an entertainer. I go to events and draw people.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
Art director.
You draw a crowd, literally.
I'm what they call an on-the-spot cartoonist. So for weddings and events, fun days, hen nights. I've done hen nights.
I bet you have.
Always a good laugh. Yeah. Oh, it's shocking. Just me and 30 birds. Absolutely shocking.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yes, I do miss. I miss all that a lot, and the art directing as well, because you get to walk in and look like you know what you're talking about, which is an act I've been perfecting all my life, gentlemen.
Right. Your family is very creative, are they not? Your boys, especially.
My sons are, yeah. They're actually, yeah. Probably my whole family is to some extent or another. But my sons definitely are. They're 2 of them are studying architecture at university at the moment, and my eldest son is a film student over in Aberystwyth. So they're all very much into that.
How are they getting on?
They are annoyingly fine with it all.
Are they at university, as in where they are? They're not at home, are they? They're not studying.
No, they're locked down at various locations across the UK, and they've managed to carve out nice little lives for themselves. I think because in the case of one of them, he was at university last year and lived quite a full university life.
Yeah.
So I think he's finding it a little harder. Being restricted, but the others, this is the only university life they've ever known. They've got a strong work ethic. I'm not sure where that comes from. It don't come from me. And they've got a strong work ethic, and they are resourceful as people. I keep going to call them kids, but they're not kids anymore. They're
young men. And are you proud of them?
Oh God, of course.
Oh, bless.
Good man. Well done, Daniel San. Well done.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic feeling, and we're getting to the point now where it's that place in my life, and in their lives, where I'll always be their parent.
Yeah,
but you're making that transition from being the authority figure to a friend, to a trusted mentor and friend, and so that that's all. It's all a journey. It's all a challenge. I found that challenging. Yeah, but it's good stuff. I wouldn't have missed it for the world, any of it.
Do you tell them that you're proud of them?
All the time. And
Top man. To
the point where they, I think I probably overdo it. I overcook that sometimes, but yeah.
They get to that point where they don't want to hear it, like, Dad, I don't want to hear
that. Enough.
They say things like, "Oh yeah, because we wondered about that because you never mention it." Okay, I get the picture.
Well,
they're sarcastic sods.
They should start. They should start worrying when you don't tell them. So yeah.
Well, this is how I look at it. I'd rather, and I do annoy them terribly, and sometimes I do it deliberately. And
sometimes it just comes naturally.
yeah. So I do sort of late on thick sometimes, and whenever they say, they moan at me. You always phone me when I'm working out. You always phone me when I'm cooking. You always phone.
That's what dads do.
I just say one thing. I say, you'll miss me when I'm gone.
Oh, straight to the heart of it.
Mic drop.
Absolutely.
You'll miss me when you're gone. I mean, God, just make them feel depressed. Why don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, they just laugh. They piss themselves laughing.
Well, for someone who has lost their parents, lost my dad. That is really it's a horrible thing. So, everybody goes through that, don't they?
It's part of life.
Yeah.
Loss. Yeah. Again, going back to what's going on, can you imagine having to deal with loss and, as you said yesterday, Ian, or the day before, not allowed to pay your respects?
No. Yeah. Staying in the car and letting them see the coffin going down. And in fact, I think my friends weren't even allowed to see the body. I think it was the mother. No, it's the father that died, and they weren't allowed to. Well, actually, they did, but behind the glass and stuff like that. So, but it's just a funeral.
Yeah.
They were only allowed few people in the church, and then when they were burying him, they couldn't get out the car. They had to see the people put the, you can't throw the dirt on the coffin or anything like that. It's all that stuff. So, yeah, life is getting tough because of this so-called deadly virus. That's people are dropping in the streets, and we can't breathe the air and all that rubbish. Mostly, it's rubbish. Put it that way.
It was. Interesting what Dan said. He pretty much said word for word what I said yesterday, that I don't think people are going to take another lockdown after this.
People are at breaking point, eh?
We are all at breaking point, yes. And
the thing is, though,
all of us are British here, and I think that the problem is, or one of the problems are, British people will take a lot, and particularly if, and we will place a certain amount of faith. But there's nothing that the British dislike more, or no kind of person, no sort of displayed quality that the Brits hate more than a hypocrite. And at the moment,
double standards.
We've seen quite a lot of hypocrisy right across the board, not just from politicians, but from the famous, the people, the great and the good, as they would.
From YouTubers as well, Dan. From YouTubers as well, I've noticed.
Oh, really?
This is very controversial. This is for me.
Out of the loop a little bit.
This is a hot topic at the moment. I'm not going to mention it today, but I'll kind of have a little.
You get yourself wound up. You're gonna.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that Boris is going to Scotland today, and
essential trip.
Yeah, politicians are complaining about it. That it's not that essential and stuff like that. So. But quite frankly, I don't care what they say in the news now, because quite frankly, I don't believe most of. I
don't watch it
at all. So, I just, whatever. Just have to go with the flow.
The only thing of note, what I've seen on the news the last few days, was a Sky News report of how people are queuing up in food banks at Blackpool because they've not worked for 10 months. They've not got any money, and they're just living on handouts.
Yeah.
So there's that. And I saw yesterday I don't know the name of the Tory politician, and I would love to get him on here. Just basically saying, I've got privilege. Everybody in this house has got privilege. When are you going to wake up to the fact that the people who you're representing are on the fucking breadline, can't afford to feed their children? And he just basically went on about the entire injustice, the unfairness of it all. And lockdown is a very, very two-tier event. It's ultimately going back down to the haves and have-nots. If you're on the right side of the fence, lockdown, it's going to be a breeze, relatively.
What about who's that singer that started crying?
You've had it.
Do you remember that who's the singer that started crying because he couldn't get out?
Oh, Sam Smith. Oh, yeah. Oh, you see, you've used a gender specific pronoun there, Ian, and he would not approve of
Ian.
What did I do?
Naughty.
What did I do?
This is the guy. This is the absolute, in my opinion, the absolute dickhead, Sam Smith, who is an entitled little crybaby. But recently he insisted he is a non-binary person, so he is now a they, and this is how much time this guy's got on his hands to sit there.
What did I say wrong though?
Well, we're not supposed to use the prefix of he when we speak about him.
Okay, can I say one thing?
Get up to speed, Ian.
Right, can I say one thing? That it is a fact that he was born a male.
Gonads. We've had this conversation before. Gonads.
As far as I can see, he is still a biological male.
Yes,
but yes, he insists on being called a they.
He's biologically, he's a dickhead biologically.
But he can insist all he wants, right? But I have the right to call him a male. I have a right to call him a he because that is a basic fact that he was born a he.
He has male gonads, so he is a male.
So I don't understand. He can insist it, but whether I say it or comply to what he wants is another matter.
No, in all seriousness, I mean, if somebody wants me to refer to them as whatever, then I will. But but I also reserve the right to take the piss out of them if I want to.
Yeah.
That's the Brummy way. That is.
I'll
I
call them
believe
Dave,
so.
but I'll do it in a sarcastic fashion.
But the thing, well, this is it. I mean, again, not to sound too nationalistic, because I'm not a particularly nationalistic or patriotic person. I like to think of myself as a humanist. But there are
Very good.
There are different. How can I put this? Different quirks to being different nationalities, and I think British people, how we have handled adversity in the past, has traditionally been to laugh at it. And I mean, I don't know Cockney Spock. I suspect he's on the same page, but certainly, you know, I know Mega Geek and Mr. Brown quite well, and we all, I think, have a very similar, quite a dry and playful sense of humour.
We do.
And going to stop that now, aren't they? Stop laughing at these things.
Exactly.
No more humour, please.
So how are the British expected to get through not just a national but an international emergency without being able to laugh at it and do that typically British thing?
Unfortunately, I don't, because it's gone on so long. I don't feel like there's anything to laugh at. I don't know about you guys.
Loads of stuff to laugh at.
Well, it's because it's so serious.
Cockney Spock.
I agree with all of you. It's so serious that we've got to laugh at it. And on top of that, as Mega Geek says, there's some layers of ridiculousness that are, if it weren't so tragic, they would be hilarious. So it's like seriousness and then humour for the seriousness and then humour for the inherent ridiculousness within the seriousness. It's a layer cake of fun, pun, cry, laugh, wipe a tear, start again, check
despair.
Your pants. Are you male? Are you female? Are you
despair?
The Daily Mail, they've got to change that now. It's the Daily Mail. You know what I mean?
Daily something.
The daily I don't know. The Daily Day.
We'll just finish off on one little more COVID point. I was awake at 6:45 this morning, the earliest I've been up in months. And I went downstairs to watch, to have breakfast, sort the cats out, have 10 minutes watching the breakfast TV. And
oh, God.
I know. Apparently, there's a big stink in Europe about short supply of vaccines. And one of the German newspapers were basically saying no wonder the UK left, because of all the red tape and bureaucracy of Europe, which is why the vaccines are not getting rolled out as quick as they thought they would, because effectively of red tape. And the German newspapers, in a nutshell, said no wonder the British left, because of all this red tape.
Wow, really? So they're admitting that Brexit might have been a good idea.
I'd heard something of that effect as well. It's one of those things where I'd heard it in passing, because, as you know, I haven't got a TV license, so I get all my information from both YouTube and social media.
Yes, and Mr. Brown.
Alternative media, and you, of course, Mr. Brown.
Yes.
So I had heard a little of that, but I hadn't actually gone and read on it to see.
Well, I can confirm that happened.
Good Lord.
The only thing I picked up in social media is that Kristen Stewart is playing Princess Di.
Oh,
That's the only thing I picked up this morning. That's
it.
Really.
I came across that.
Really?
Yeah. I thought she didn't look too bad, actually, but
it's only one picture though.
It's gonna sink or swim on as soon as she opens her mouth, basically.
Right. My ex-girlfriend looked just like her, and every time I see her, it always throws me. Hasn't she?
Stuart or Diana?
No, Kristen Stewart.
Just checking.
Yes, I can't quite picture that, but if you say it's happening, well, yes. I mean, good luck to her.
It was, to be fair, the likeness. You can't tell.
It's like The Crown when they got that girl to play Princess Diana. I think she looks absolutely nothing like her, but everybody's going, "Oh, she looks like her," but she looks nothing like her. This is the thing that really pisses me off when they do real people in films. They never get someone that looks like. They always go for the star or someone with a name, and then try to make them look like. And they look nothing like
weird.
them.
Yeah.
Have they got it right this time, Mega Geek?
I don't know. You can't base it on one picture. I saw one picture of her. They obviously took that picture so she looks like Diana, but when she's moving around, let's find out what she looks like. You know,
she's very petite, isn't she, Kristen Stewart? And Diana was a tall woman.
Yeah, was she? I don't know how tall.
Yeah, she was. I think she was about 5'9", 5'10". She was quite tall, but because she was stood next to Charles, who's very tall, she looked short.
I mean, they couldn't even get that right with Star Wars. Han Solo is a fictional character, and they got that dentist son in, and he's about 3 foot tall, isn't he? he's going to look short
on 20 minutes
Chewie anyway.
Yeah,
20 into the Star Wars.
Okay, so 20 minutes. So we'll change the subject. Yes, we've done the serious stuff. So
that was serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was mild compared to me yesterday and the day before. Fucking, I was.
Everything's serious.
venting.
We can't even agree on Reservoir Dogs.
I was venting, which is not good. So, Dan, for the folks at home, what floats your boat in YouTube land? As in, what do you do? What's your passion?
What do I do on YouTube, or what do I see out when I go to
YouTube? What do you do? What does your channel? What's your content on your channel? Clarify.
I'm mostly if I'm honest, you're probably best off asking some of my subscribers about that. But I think the main thing that I do is talk about Doctor Who, which is the world's longest running science fiction series, a British institution, currently run right into the ground. But with this extraordinary, frustrating fan base, which is probably one of the loudest and most divided and divisive on the planet. So it's like, I think being involved in Doctor Who fandom, particularly having some sort of voice in Doctor Who fandom, is a lot like being a referee a great deal of the time. But I love it. I love the franchise itself, and I do love the fan base for the most part, the proper fans, that is. Right. And so that's a privilege and something I get a lot of pleasure out of. So I do a lot of that over on the Spacebook and on the podcast that I've been on for a few years.
How's your channel going at the moment? Is it doing good?
It's going well. I mean, Ian will say too. I mean, last year, the whole YouTube channel thing kind of came out of of my blind spot. Really, it was something that I only did for a bit of a giggle because I've been running a Facebook group for about 6 years now called the Spacebook. That's where the name comes from.
Yeah.
So I've been running this Facebook group, and I just made a short video about a year and a half ago, just a 10-minute thing to say hi to the people in the group, just and thank for for whatever anniversary it was. Thanks for being a member, all that sort of thing. It's 10 minutes talking to camera, and people told me, you should put that on YouTube. So I did, and it gradually sort of grew from there, really. And so the channel itself, last year I did a lot of YouTube, and with the assistance of the Mega Geek here, we had a lot of fun, didn't we, Ian? We played with a lot of formats, talked to a lot of people, cracked some terrible jokes. I mean, between us, it really is. It's quite shocking that any of them are still talking to us, Ian.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we had a lot of fun. But when we did the bulk of that, I think, because Ian and I talked about this quite a lot, and there were various formats that we threw around just to see what would stick, to see what people would respond to, and to see what we enjoyed, because it's something that we do for fun at the end of the day. It is. And I think that sort of reached to a natural conclusion Christmas and New Year. Yeah. And you take a step back, you think, okay, what's the shape of this thing now? What's it look like? What do I want to carry on doing it? The answer is yes. What do I want it to look like? I think you should, yeah. What do I want it to look like and sound like going forward? So that's the place I'm at now. So the channel is kind of, it's becoming a bit more structured, a little more thought going into it, because you can put too much thought into these things and completely kill them. But there's lots more ideas, and Ian's full of ideas. He's one of the most creative people I know.
He is.
Me.
And the people who watch are nice people. They are,
yeah. I've noticed that you do have a nice little community.
Yeah. I mean, as always, there are people there who, what I like about it, yes, okay, it is a bit of an echo chamber, but when you band people together for whatever reason, you've always got that. But we do attract people who are willing to certainly challenge my views, to counterbalance the things that I say. And the people that we kind of wheel on, a great many of them are people who either are completely new to YouTube or people who aren't necessarily people who aren't or weren't interested in YouTubing or even podcasting, and who are just there for something, the pure experience of being there with the fans. Really.
The thing about the channel, the channel that we're always on, is that we try not to insult people. Like we had someone that liked Jodie on the last one we did. Remember, Dan?
Yeah.
And we didn't, I mean, a lot of people expressed their opinion on this era, but we didn't go out of the way to tell him that he was an arsehole and he shouldn't be on here, did we? You know what I mean? Because we respect his view. Because if he likes Jodie, then that's what he likes.
This is nice having Jodie's agent on there.
It would be nice to have her on there. In fact, last night I was on Netflix, and I was flicking through the show, and one of the descriptions on the show sounded quite interesting, and I turned it on, and it was Jodie as a nurse. I thought, no, I'm not going to watch this. Purely, I mean, I don't, the premise sounded really
as a
good.
Nurse.
Basically, the premise is
wearing a uniform.
The premise is that her best friend, who was a surgeon, dies, and she takes her identity. So that was the premise, and I thought, that sounds interesting. And I flicked it. I saw a picture of Jodie, and I thought, no, I can't watch this. I can't watch it.
It was called Trust Me, wasn't it? It was on around 3 or 4 years.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Absolutely awful.
Is it? Trust me, I'm a doctor.
That would be
Doctor Who.
It was kind of like that. That would be a fun idea. Well, fun idea. That would be quite a good idea for a movie or something. But they spread it out to 4 or 5 episodes.
I didn't watch it because the little thumbnail looked like it was a different woman, and then when I clicked on it, it came up, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's Jodie! I can't watch this."
Yeah, well, they did stretch for a lot. In this one, she didn't come from Sheffield. She came from North Yorkshire.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's where I am.
It was a real stretch for Jodie. Yeah, you could see her sort of flexing her a new string to the bow there. Yeah.
Have you heard of LA's Finest? LA's Finest. Have you heard of that show?
I've heard of it. What's it like?
I'll tell you what, right? After I decided not to watch the Jodie show, I was flicking around and I found LA's Finest. So I put it on, right? And it's got these 2 gorgeous women in it. I can't remember the
trash TV.
Yeah. This is two of the hottest women from around 15 years ago. Gabrielle Union and the girl from Jessica Alba.
Her name is.
Oh yes.
Adored both of them in the
It's
early
basically a take on Bad Boys. It's made by the same people.
Okay.
But it's got 2 females in it. And immediately I started watching 15 minutes of it. I just couldn't take it. I was like, they just copying Will Smith. They're copying Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. The whole show is just basically Bad Boys, but with two women in it. And
is it a TV series?
TV series. And I just thought, I can't watch this because it's not even original. They're not even trying to make
shite.
It's different.
Yeah. How does that work? Because Gabrielle Union's character was in Bad Boys 2, wasn't she? She was actually in it, but her character was.
Oh. Well, I don't know if it's the same character. I don't know, but it really looks glossy and it looks fantastic. But immediately when it started just like the way the first Bad Boys started, where they're arguing in the car and stuff like that. And I thought, no, can't they just be original?
I've never seen Bad Boys. Just doesn't
5 minutes. That was enough for me.
First movie's fantastic.
Yeah, the first movie is fun. Yeah,
first movie is fun. Tia Leone in it. Ding.
Yes.
Dong.
She's gorgeous. Well, she was gorgeous. I don't know what she looks like now.
Yeah. Not too hot now. Not too hot now.
Hang on, I'll just ask her. How you doing, Tia?
She was married to. Was she married to David Duchovny?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
X-Files for the people at home.
Yeah, but as I said,
did they stay together, or did they become the real? She is.
God no. He's a sex addict. Do you really think they stay together? Do you really think they stay together?
Then there's the Equalizer that's coming out.
Oh no, Queen Latifah.
As Edward Woodward.
I like her. Yeah. She's a fun actress in so many things. But you see the picture, just the still photographs, and then the trailer, and there's something ever so faintly ridiculous about it all.
Yeah, but it's a different take. It's basically she's a vigilante. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And she's got some problem as well. She's trying to sort out. They call it. But the thing is, though, again, if you want to, put females in the front, if you want to put black people in the front, make something new. Why are you going back to these IPs and destroying it with oh man, you've heard this argument loads of times. I'll stop here. You know what I mean?
Well, Denzel Washington. Denzel was amazing in that first Equalizer movie.
Yeah, he was.
I haven't seen the second one.
The second one was pretty good, to be fair, Dan. Yeah, I'd recommend.
At least they stuck to what the Equalizer was all about. The TV show it's very much the same thing, but it's Denzel Washington. But in this one, it's a woman, for one, nothing against women, and it's a black woman, and also it's using the format of the TV show, not rightly though. But why do this? Why can't they create something?
Because it's just easy. The source material is there already. It's just easy. It's bankrupt, and I know
morally
nothing about
and financially and emotionally.
Well, I mean, what I don't understand is how they can make this sort of action show. Because let's be honest, Queen Latifah, she doesn't skip many dinners, does she? She's she's a
Daniel,
and she's a woman of age. I mean, I'd say she's probably.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
I think she's probably in her. She's got
to be in her 50s. She's got to be in her 50s at least.
I know she was doing recordings with De La Soul back in 1990. So quick bit of mental arithmetic.
Yeah, and I was 20 then.
So she's at least 50, isn't she?
I mean, it's a fun idea in one sense, but I just can't believe that somebody as talented as her. And I've seen her act in various things, and I've always enjoyed her. I can't believe that this is sincerely the best use of her time and the most creative project that she could find.
Maybe there's a divorce in the pipeline.
Right.
You know what, right? The original Equalizer had an aging person, Edward Woodward.
That's true.
He was quite old. But the thing is, he didn't go around beating people up. He was very much a gunman. He would shoot someone or push someone against a wall, threaten them with words. You know what I mean? Yeah, it'd be sometimes we punch someone.
Did any of you guys watch it? I think there was a Channel 5 program a few years ago doing the top 20 hard men or hard TV characters. And
Minder was
the Equalizer. Yeah, they were all on there. Like the Professionals.
Well, they should only be
Minder.
Makes a mockery of top 20, doesn't it? They're all on there.
I think
Come on.
I think the Equalizer. I think the Equalizer was number one.
Really?
And they said he was the hardest TV character of all time because he was very, very understated.
You can't be hard if you need a gun.
No. Well, the thing is, I liked the Equalizer,
and I got the logic.
Do you know what? There's this one episode in Equalizer, and I don't know if you guys watched it, where I thought was absolutely brilliant. It was about he went to this dinner party, right? And suddenly all these terrorists came in, and they're all held hostage, and the police was outside trying to negotiate. And the McCall was in. Obviously he couldn't do anything because he was stuck in there. But the ending is fantastic. Basically, it came to the point where they were going to storm. The police was going to storm, and McCall knew it. And then McCall, because he's quite a gentleman of age, he put his hand up and he says, "I need to go to the loo." Right. So one of the hostages took him to the loo, and he went into the cubicle and he pulled off a coat hanger, and he pulled it off the wall. As he opens the door, he sticks this guy in the throat with the coat hanger. Blood everywhere. Puts his jacket on, right? Yeah. Comes out of it comes to the place where everybody's held hostage with the coat on him, but he's dragging the other guy, so it looks like the terrorist is dragging McCall. He turns around, kills them all, shoots them all. That's it. End of story. Do you know what I mean? And I also thought to myself, what a great ending. He waited for the police to negotiate. He thought there was going to be a peaceful outcome.
Ian's getting stimulated, everybody.
But you know what I'm saying? They don't make shows like that anymore.
They don't, mate. They don't. I can just tell by your excitement that.
I love that episode.
Yeah. He's pumped.
Amazing.
It is. The Mega Geek is pumped.
Pumped on 34.
I love that episode. I tell you just got to watch it to understand what I'm talking about.
Remember, it used to be prime time ITV, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and they got him because they saw him in Callum. You remember that show, Callum?
Yeah.
Producers saw him in that, and they said, "Let's just get him." And then you realise that show was quite old. So when they got him, I thought, "Oh, okay, he's a man of age. So let's just write it as a man of age." So there you go. So he's a really great actor, Edward Woodward.
I've never seen it. I've never seen The Equalizer, but I was given. A friend of mine gave me the season 1 box set. I've got it upstairs. Never watched it. I think I may have to give the pilot a look.
You've never watched it?
No.
Oh,
It's a good show. It's a good
Equalizer
show.
version.
Oh.
Right.
oh.
Oh.
It was very of its time, but as I said to Ian a couple of seconds ago, it was ITV.
Yeah.
prime time.
Nostalgia. Oh, I remember
And
that conversation of a
I
minute
don't know
ago.
about you,
Oh, I
Ian,
love
but
those.
when it was on, we watched it.
I love it because basically McCall was a CIA agent, so he left the CIA to
Great
help
theme.
people. He put an advert in a newspaper saying, "If the
Yeah.
odds are against you, call this number." So when people called him, and like there'll be like a kidnapping or something like that. When when he turned up to the police, everybody knew who he was, so they let him in. And the thing that always made me laugh, he always used to go up to the person he's helping. He would say to them, "I will get your son," and he'll walk off, and he does it. He does it. Do you know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. He's going to do it. Yeah,
He delivers the goods.
yeah, it's really good show. Really good show. If I was you, if you haven't seen this show, you should watch it.
Equalizer 2, The School Run. I will get your son at 4:15.
This one's for Mega Geek. Ian, do you remember when this Professionals was rebooted by Sky? Was it Sky?
That was terrible.
Yeah, I've got those. I've got that on DVD.
Edward Woodward was the Cowley guy, wasn't he?
Yes, it was. It was awful. The show was awful. It
CI5.
didn't have anything that was any kind of tone to the original show. It was just trying to talk to the Americans most of the time.
Was
badly.
that the early noughties?
I think
It
so.
was
It's on Amazon.
It was
on
1997.
Wow.
Oh, specific.
As long ago as that?
Yeah. 97
previous
coming into
millennium.
98. Yeah.
My God, doesn't time fly? Ian, have you seen Black Hawk Down yet? Being that was
I've been working, mate.
But I've been working. Show off.
Dan, have you seen Black Hawk Down, Dan?
Oh God, not since it first came out.
It's a good film, isn't it?
The Ridley Scott film.
Yeah. Ian's never watched it.
I've never seen it. No.
I can't remember a great deal about it, but I remember it. I've enjoyed most of his films.
What was it? Somebody called it was it a boner movie? Is that what you call war movies? I'd never heard that.
Movie? Boner movie?
Yeah, when we were talking about it the other day, and somebody was in the chat. They called it a boner movie. And I thought, what? Is that something else? But yeah.
Oh yeah, Slavko, war boner or something.
Yeah, war boner. Yeah, he's got his war boner on or something.
I mean, it's a weird mix because it's a bit gung ho, yet at the same time, it's acknowledged as being very realistic. Although within that, it's a bit jingoistic, realistic. In other words, they focus on the everything is true in it, but they kind of conveniently forget that they're being relatively rescued by the Pakistanis.
See, Dan, we were talking about Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Oh, don't go down that rabbit hole.
No, I haven't seen Blade Runner since I was a kid, so I can't join in any conversation about Blade Runner. I've got no opinion. I've got no opinion about the plot or that big question. I've never seen the sequel, so yeah.
Yeah, we just
the sequel. Oh, we've got to Blade Runner 2049 fan.
No. Yeah, we kind of morphed into talking about Ridley Scott at the end, and we kind of went through the Ridley Scott stuff, and Black Hawk Down was mentioned, and we were genuinely surprised Ian had never seen it.
Do you guys find that war movies, the great ones, usually have an undercurrent going through it? Like, for instance, with Saving Private Ryan, it was very much American flag waving, wasn't it? Don't you think? Now, I think that's the only thing that spoiled it for me.
Not in an obvious way, but I did think afterwards, I thought, after all these years, one day we are going to get to a point where we are going to show the Germans as more than just the enemy. And that is the sign. Any war movie, and I mean, I don't know, I'm talking myself. I'm going to start disagreeing with myself. I'm only a third of the way into the sentence. But it's like you need to hate the enemy, even in the film. But one of these days, I think was it Flags of Our Fathers, Clint Eastwood? He did it across two movies, but at least one movie from the American perspective and then a second movie from the Japanese perspective. So at least he made an effort.
Do you think... sorry.
No, it's all right. I was almost at the end. I was building up to the...
Sorry.
That's the end of
my
point.
inexperience showed through.
Well, with four of us, it's different. It's like a war in
it. It is. I was just going to ask Ian, do you think Saving Private Ryan is very kind of America won the war?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? When you look at it, it's very much waving the flag. I mean, Spielberg has gone through this. He went from being an amazing director and with fantasy stuff straight through to waving the flag. I really hated Lincoln. I thought Lincoln was a bore fest all the way through.
Never seen it.
It was very much bore fest, and I was really disappointed with my favorite Steven Spielberg for directing that movie. Everything looked fantastic, performances were brilliant, but it was boring, absolutely boring. And he was waving the flag, and the same thing with Private Ryan. He waved the flag there. You're talking about showing Germans not as the enemy. What about Schindler's List? That guy was German, and he saved so many Jews. He saved millions of Jews, didn't he? And that's one way of showing that not all Germans are evil. You know what I mean?
He was literally a paid-up member of the Nazi Party. Well, actually, you know what? I want to go straight into it's a bit heavy, but
never seen it.
To this day, because the further away, like our age, but our fathers or our grandfathers would have been involved in that war. But to this day, it gets so simplified. I heard someone going, "Oh, it's a problem with the Germans and the Jews." And I just wanted to slap myself like, the Jews were German. That's the point. You can't conflate a religion with a nationality, with a gender, with a race. You know what I mean? It's like they were German. That's the point. Anyway, so there are plenty of Germans in concentration camps for many reasons. That's why it's a lot more complex and nuanced, and that's the whole thing. As we move to almost 100 years, basically, I just cringe for me German mates. It's like, my German friends around, let's whip on Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List, have a good old time.
Or Faulty Towers. Don't mention the war.
Don't mention the war. You invaded it. You invaded Baghdad and the false pretext. Yeah, I want to do it. Do you know what? I've had an idea for a new TV show.
I think we got away with it.
Yeah, no, instead of they want to do a new version of Faulty Towers, but in Iraq, Fallujah Towers. No, bear with me.
Wah.
Yeah, and basically Ahmed Forty has a bang on the head, and instead of the Germans, it's the Anglo-Americans. Tony Blair's round for dinner.
Oi! I've told you, don't go there.
Don't go with. I've got a hate boner for Tony. All right, moving on.
Please don't go there. I keep telling him.
Reverse psychology.
That's for another discussion.
You hear me, Tony? You're under arrest. All right, moving on.
He never listens. He never listens.
What? I never what?
How do you know Cockney Spock anyway? Brown?
He was stalking me on Twitter.
That's one way.
So I thought, all right, let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes.
I'll get rid of him, and now look.
Dan, how did we meet? I can't remember.
I was gonna ask you two. How did you meet?
I'm not entirely sure now. Come to think, I think weren't we on the same stream with Noel once?
Oh, I think so.
With Bowles Trick, were we both on Bowles Trick show together?
No. I remember now. It's because I think we were both on the show, and I wanted someone to do the Rebecca Gold with the actors, and it was between you and the rabbi. And I said to myself, "No, Dan's more professional."
He is. He's very professional.
Don't listen to him, Sophie. Well, yes. I mean, that does ring a bell. It was around that time. I think that was the first thing we did on the Spacebook channel.
Yes. We love the rabbi. Yeah. We love the rabbi.
Literally, nobody makes me laugh like the rabbi. In fact, I may pop in on his stream later on. I mean, I'd seen Ian talk on various channels too, because we've got a lot of friends in common, whatever you want to call it.
He's a great guest, not blowing smoke up his ass, but he is a great guest.
Ooh, my ass. Yeah, there you go.
Little tingle.
Yeah.
Yes, that does sound about right. Yes, and I know that you'd been on. I'd heard of Rebecca Gold before I knew who you were.
How long ago was that? Sorry.
I'd say I knew. Well, Ian was, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. He was fiercely pimping Rebecca Gold, and rightly so. When it first dropped,
it's award-winning, mate. It's award-winning.
Yeah. And very much, and not without reason, because it's bloody good. And so he was turning up on all the channels that I was watching. Ian would turn up, but usually not giving his name. I think he just went on as Rebecca Gold channel.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
and we talked about it. So, like a lot of people out there, he knew exactly how to market that, and it got me watching. And I know that our friend Gary on Nerdrotic, he watched it too and talked about it.
As did as well. I was really surprised because he actually sent me a message and said, he had a few problems with it, but apart from that, he quite enjoyed it. So it was really nice of him to take the time out to watch it, because he's really busy. So yeah, it's nice of him.
Yeah, nice chap.
Yeah,
he's busy getting pissed.
He's very funny though. You know, the free channels that I watch, excluding obviously Facebook, I also actually watch that. Is Az's channel. He makes me laugh so much. Bostrek's channel makes me laugh. Thank God that's short.
Yeah,
and
he's found his format. He has.
Yeah, Drinker and Gary. Those and now Culture Casino. I love Culture Casino's 6-minute rant, and he has like a good rant. I like watching Culture because he actually gives us information from the business that we don't know. So yeah, Doomcock I sometimes watch.
Not my channel then.
Well, your channel just started, mate. Do you know what I mean? So
we're getting there. Channel. I did watch your channel yesterday. It was nice not being on it for once, being in the audience. Although I did crowd the chat.
I'm glad you reminded me about Culture Casino because I've got to get in touch with that guy.
Yeah, you know, I just watched it just now before I came on. Actually, he was talking about Equalizer. That's why I mentioned it. He was talking about
Ego in.
How yeah.
Subscribe.
Oh, Swap Shop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Really
Thank you very much, sir.
You really do need to watch it.
Rebecca Gold a YouTube show?
Yeah, it is. It's on Amazon, and I think only not a lot of people watched it, but we got some really good reviews that the people that actually watched it. So, and it's on the American Amazon as well, so it's quite nice. So there you go.
Could you, as we've asked you before, could you not approach somebody to get some funding? I didn't know you were on Amazon, so surely couldn't you ask them if it's
you have to know people, you have to be in the business to
Robert Meyerbonet.
Yeah, well, I hate to ask, but I mean,
we should do, mate. He, as I said before, he's working for Netflix at the moment on a project he's going to announce in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, a secret Project Brown.
No, he did it. He did a competition, didn't he? Filmmakers for Christmas at Christmas time.
He's been inundated. Yeah,
I know. He's been overloaded.
He was surprised. He got 1,200 entries or something. No, I exaggerate. But yeah, there's a lot of entries there. A lot of budding filmmakers.
And then he decides to run a short story competition. At the same time. He doesn't let one overloaded, oversubscribed competition finish first. He has two going at the same time. And I think
three if you include the front cover competition and the poster competition. So 4 if you include the graphics.
He's probably overloaded himself.
He has inundated.
So what channels do you watch, Dan, then, incidentally?
What channels do I watch? I'm not just saying this. I watch pretty much everything that the rabbi makes. I think no, I'm
such a funny guy.
Nobody makes me laugh like Svi. And I mean, he's so how can I put this? He's a fiercely intelligent man, but he's also a thinker. But what I find so refreshing about it is he does all of his thinking, or the great deal of his thinking, he does it live on screen. You can see the cogs turning.
Yeah,
he runs with. He's a very idiosyncratic man, and you never know where he's going to go with a point next. I mean, some of it is absolute hardcore pornography. the things that he puts out there. But again, he's got a very, very playful mind. His attitude towards, even though he and I, in many respects, we couldn't be more different. He's got exactly the same attitude towards the source material, particularly with Doctor Who, that I have. And I think that's why I relate to him so much. And that's why I enjoy his company so much. So
it's funny.
I watch the rabbi a lot.
It's funny.
We love the rabbi.
Because you have some people that are really into stuff like Keith. Keith gets slightly upset if you push him on certain things.
Discovery.
Those kind of
Svi will give you his opinion and his honest opinion with next to no filter on almost any subject. I'd say that's probably true, isn't it, Ian? He wouldn't really back down from not from an argument, but he doesn't fear conversation, and I respect that enormously because neither do I. And I think, but I have felt the resistance, because when you speak publicly, and when I first started podcasting, I did think, should I be careful about what I put out there? And the truth of the matter is that, you should always conduct yourself in a manner that you can live with. But
a prim and proper manner, yes.
Yeah, agreed. But opinions never hurt anybody, really, that I can see. I mean,
frank exchange of views is healthy.
If you've got the maturity They don't.
The what?
The
And that's
maturity.
not to say that I agree.
I'm writing that down.
That's not to say that I agree with that's not to say that I agree with everything the rabbi says. I don't.
Sure.
That's why I find him so entertaining, because the way he looks at things, it's just different to mine. I mean, I do watch. I've got a lot of time for Gary Beekler. He's even before I met him, I think he's pretty much. I think he's great at what he does. His work ethic is extraordinary. He's a very loyal man, a very amusing man. I've got a lot of time for him.
Very real.
Yeah, I think the best at what he does is probably Dave Cullen.
Dave Cullen's.
Hey, Dave.
I think he's not putting anything on YouTube anymore.
He's on banned. He's been banned.
Why.
No, he hasn't been banned.
His channel's been locked.
Oh, is it?
Locked. Yeah,
I don't know.
It's still on. He's not allowed to post any new content. I think it's still on there.
Call that a ban. That's effectively a ban.
I don't think he's allowed to post anything new.
That's terrible.
That's why I didn't mention him first, because again, he's another really, really intelligent guy.
Yeah,
and
he is.
Some of his ideas are quite unorthodox compared to mine, and really quite big thinking, and some of it is outlandish in many respects. But I really respect him. I consider him a proper journalist in the truest sense of the word.
As I said to Mega Geek a few streams ago, Dave Cullen. Well, you posted the Dave Cullen Doctor Who video, didn't you? And I watched it. And I looked at it. I thought, fucking hell, this is bang on this. And then I looked at the timestamp 3 years ago.
Yeah, because he knew it was coming, and he warned everybody.
Absolutely bang on.
He did that before Bolstrek put his. Oh no! Actually, I don't think he did. No, I think Bolstrek just got in there first. But obviously, Bolstrek was his channel when he first published his first video. Not even slating Jodie Whittaker, but just saying, guys, ringing a bit of an alarm bell, saying, this might not work. When he put that out, Bolstrek's channel was a DVD and Blu-ray review channel. Where it was kind of like Keith's channel. I mean, obviously, I should shout out to Keith as well, because obviously,
hello, Keith.
He's upcoming with this. But again, another man I really, really respect his attitude towards this platform too.
I've asked him to come on here. He says he'll come on here at some point. Yes, Keith is great. Keith is a better man than me for sticking with Discovery.
It's either he's a better man or he doesn't
better
really
than
know
all
what's
of us.
Good. Doesn't know what's good.
He's better than all of us.
No, you know what? Right? Whatever floats your boat, it's none of my concern. All I can tell you is what I like. That's my attitude towards fandom and pop culture. That's my attitude towards it. I don't care what you like. All I care about is what I like. Do you know?
Yeah.
That's all you can say, really. What else can you say?
That's fair.
Yeah.
There's a message from Demon Scythe. Love Dave Cullen. Getting other people to watch his vids just to wake up about the COVID situation, and then he goes, I think Dave, called about Discovery when it first started.
Yeah. Here's another channel I can now that because Dave's not really on YouTube anymore. Here's somebody that I haven't talked about before, and something that I've only discovered quite recently.
Who's that?
Quite a controversial figure. The channel is called the Lotus Eaters, and the show is called the Podcast of the Lotus Eaters, and it's the guy at the center of it is somebody called Carl Benjamin, who used to go by the name of Sargon of Akkad. And he's been on the Joe Rogan show and various other things. I think if I'm to pick somebody,
is it American.
Carl is a Londoner.
Oh, right, okay.
And
it's not the pop group, is it?
No, in
the Lotus. First picture of you. First picture of summer.
Well, he's been a figure in the UK for a while, a controversial writer and thinker, to the point where he's considered to be now, he's a conservative. That's the the very worst thing you can possibly be. But he is his channel and these videos and podcasts that he puts out with the various people he works with there. He used to be a one-man band, and he's called himself Sargon. He's been on the Joe Rogan show, various other things. He's also a massive geek into various things like Warcraft and gaming and anime and all sorts of things. But yeah, his channel, he does podcasts about current affairs, about present situation, and just again a way of making me think about things that I hadn't thought of before, the things that I hadn't seen, the connective tissue to in things that are in current affairs
Deep.
and in pop culture. Yeah, it really has changed, switched me onto things, got me thinking a little deeper. It's very entertaining. Well, I find it an entertaining channel in the way that it's presented, and that's the kind of YouTuber that sort of inspires me. Really, in fact, it's that's a great channel. But like I say, it hasn't been going for very long. His original channel was taken down, as are a lot of channels where people are speaking something approaching truth. No, not truth. When people are speaking and preaching common sense, it doesn't play well. So his channels were taken down. So yeah, he's relaunched using his own name and with a group of journalists, actual journalists, working with him. So that I recommend that a lot. With pop culture, I like what Clownfish TV do. I think
I watch Clownfish.
Yeah, I kind of jump in now and again with them. Yeah, they're okay. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you're on Instagram or YouTube and you see people have so many subscribers, you think, what's the point of giving them a like? Because they've got too many.
They're not going to notice it.
They're not even going to notice it. You know what I mean? So. You know what I mean? So sometimes I don't, even when it comes to Instagram and I see one of my friends have, 4,000, I thought, what's the point of liking this? They got enough likes. So, what's the point? Move on. But Jordan Peterson is a guy that I was watching YouTube because he seems to he talks a lot of sense. That guy.
I've put him and Carl Benjamin in a similar.
Who is Jordan Peterson?
He's a Canadian thinker.
Right.
I think he got banned from New Zealand.
He's a university. He's actually a university lecturer from Canada. Yes. Until very recently, he was off YouTube and out of the public arena for over a year because he got very, very ill. Because he's around 60, 65 years old. He got very ill, and the medication that he was taking, it turned out that his immune system disagreed with it. The man nearly died. Nearly died. And so those horrible people out there, these supposedly the most tolerant and loving people in society, but who seem to be the most hateful people that I can see, they were all over that. But he is now back on YouTube, back making videos, back having conversations with people.
When he got famous because he went up against a well-known Channel 4. He was on Channel 4 News, and he was up against that woman. Yeah, and he basically said something to her, and she was absolutely stunned by what he said, and she just trying to figure out what he meant, and he got her. He completely got her, and that's how he became really, really famous, especially in the UK. And if you listen to some of his lectures, it makes so much sense. It really does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And that is Jordan
Peterson.
Right, okay.
There's a couple of ironies there. There is kind of yin and yang opposites world. Actually, yin and yang isn't.
Yeah, go on, Spock.
It's more complex than that. Well, just it's amazing what you just said there, Spacebook. That he was almost killed by his medication, and then he got almost destroyed in the ratings by ostensibly the most tolerant people. See, everything's topsy turvy, isn't it? Medicine will kill you. The tolerant people will try and ban you. Left is right, up is down. Dogs
in, out, check it all about.
I understand that Jordan Peterson has recently done a big interview with Douglas Murray as well. And Douglas is the writer of the book, The Madness of Crowds, which covers the entire subject that you've just talked about there, Cockney Spock. So I think I have to see that video with the two of those two minds speaking freely would be fascinating.
Here you go, Ian. Message for you. Just bear with me. I think it's this one.
What do you do? Buy on Twitter. What do I do? Buy on Twitter.
I think they mean go
buy.
What's your name?
Ian David Diaz. That's and at the Mega Geek. So if you just type in Ian David Diaz, my full name. So
we've got Tupac Shakur from the grave in as well.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Big fan, Tupac. Good to see you back. I think.
Yeah, he likes Peterson as well. So yeah. Okay. This one as well from Demon Scythe. Ian, look up 7 Rules for Life.
Yes, I've actually ordered the book off Amazon, so it should be
linking it in.
This is above my head, folks.
Wasn't it illustrated by Ethan Van Sciver? Is that correct?
That's true. That is true. Ethan. Yeah, I know Ethan a little bit. He did the illustrations for that.
So there you go. YouTube linking.
Your level of all this stuff is pretty damn good. I'm just sat here and I don't know what you're talking about. How bad is that? I need to expand my mind. I think
the thing I like about
this
Jordan,
is all new to me.
He talks about this stupid culture that's going through our society today, and he's so bang on about everything that he says about the women thing. There was that one thing where the woman on Channel 4 was going, but men get paid more than women, and he laid it out. He said basically, no, that's not true, because as I said to you yesterday, Cockney, that every question is multifaceted.
Yeah, it's more complex. You can't just go, boom, that's it.
Yeah, you can't just have one thing. And he basically, ripped her, just basically by logic, made her see sense, So
destroyed by logic.
It's an electrifying watch, Mr. Brown. Definitely go and look at that Channel 4 interview with Jordan Peterson.
Right.
And the 7 Rules for Life, either the book or the audio book, is probably a great place to start with something like that.
I'm going to open my mind.
It really did. Nice. It makes it sound like it's really dense, and the beauty of it is its simplicity. If I can understand it, anybody can.
It is
open your mind.
Intelligent. And I didn't know he was Canadian until somebody told me recently. I was like, "What, guy's Canadian? Sounds
no one's perfect."
Sounds very American.
I say that my mom's Canadian.
I love Canada. Canada's a great place.
I've got family in Canada. I've never been.
Have I? Yeah.
I've got family from Canada, but they're not in Canada now. That's another story.
Dan, when as I said to you before, I kind of started noticing all this stuff at the beginning of the year, all this kind of stuff. Sorry, last year that's going on.
Year. Welcome to the party.
28 days ago. When did you start noticing all this agenda stuff?
I think
this whole kind of current climate of
what's going on. As it were.
When did the bullshit meter start tingling?
It was a friend of mine actually who started talking to me about it around, what year was it now? It's 2021. This would have been around 2016. So this was before the Doctor Who thing.
So quite early on in all this. Right, okay.
Yeah. And initially this guy, I thought that he was paranoid, and I thought that he was blowing things out of proportion.
Right.
And I could see what he was saying, but I thought it was harmless.
Was it about specific programs or just specific kind of issues?
I think it was off the back of Gamergate. I'm not a gamer, and I've never understood gaming. I don't know anything about the gaming community, and so I was aware of Gamergate, and he was quite into all that, and he told me a little about that. And because what it was, I've always been, like I say, Ethan Van Sciver. I've been obviously working in the art and design industry. Always somebody who I've admired. He's with friends. I've interacted with him a little, and so he became involved in something called Comicsgate.
Okay,
because I've always followed his work and all of these things. So when Comicsgate happened, and then my friend Darren, that's when I thought again. I thought, hang on, this chimes with what Darren was saying. Darren, who is a friend of mine, but he was just one man, and I hadn't heard anybody really talk about these things, and I'd kind of said, yeah, mate, whatever, to it all. But then when Ethan started talking and broadcasting about it, and obviously got drummed out of the mainstream comics industry after this man is a incredible storyteller, and this is just madness that this is happening. And then, of course, we had the thing with there was certain sort of turning of the key. Probably was Jodie Whittaker being cast as the Doctor, which I knew. Did it click straight away? I knew that it wouldn't work. I knew that more to the point, I knew that the gender swap was a gimmick. I called it from the very, very beginning, and I knew it wouldn't work. And I went from being there are several things that nobody had ever called me in my life. I'd never been called a sexist ever in my entire life, and I'd never been called a racist either.
Oh,
bizarrely, within say 36 hours of Jodie Whittaker being cast as the Doctor. I was not only a sexist, but also somehow racist as well. It was extraordinary, and whilst the thing about her being cast as the Doctor, I've got my opinions about it.
Yeah.
But when I saw the reactions to my opinions, that's when I thought, "Whoa, this is off the scale. Why is this happening?" Not so much why have they cast that person. Why is that happening? I kind of understood that because it's a gimmick. These people have no imagination. These people have got no faith have lost their faith in the program. They don't understand what they're doing. But why do people have this opinion of my opinion? And all I've done is voice something that I thought was perfectly reasonable, and that. So all of these things, but gradually the pieces from different corners of my life started to kick together. So I looked at Comicsgate, and then not only was Darren was still saying these things and using phrases like social justice warrior, which I'd never heard before, but Darren was now not just one man; he was one of around a dozen. Maybe to 2 dozen people who I like and respect and have known for a fairly long time, who were pointing in the same direction, and they weren't all men either. And that's when I thought, okay, this is all starting to form a very particular picture.
I remember at the time the BBC were quite proud of themselves about it all.
They're always proud of themselves, Ian. You know that,
especially because it was all over breakfast TV, and they were all over it. And for you, did you know straight away that was the beginning of the end?
I wouldn't go quite that far, but I did know. I knew the reasons that they were doing it were disingenuous, and they were speaking very clearly to me of a lack of imagination, a lack of faith, and the weaponizing of the show in what was then the dawn of the culture war.
Doctor Who, you are a lifelong fan, are you not?
Yeah, literally.
It's your passion, isn't it?
Yeah.
How did that make you feel at the time?
Well, I remember, and I've spoken about this on the podcast because I hadn't been doing it for very long at that point, and it felt like
Jodie.
I felt watching the reveal of her as the Doctor. I literally felt the physical sensation of having that sort of. It was like having a power cable ripped from me. I felt the sensation of it just drained out of me. The connection with the show it instantly broke. Instantly. Yeah. And it just washed me out completely.
We've said, I think it was Ian as well, we were on a previous stream, we said we think, the promo clip where it's going through the forest and she's there, takes the hood off. We think that is the best Doctor Who she's done.
It was.
Mainly because she didn't open a big trap.
Well, it was beautiful.
And it was downhill from there.
It was beautifully shot, and the costume didn't look ridiculous. She didn't overact, and she didn't underact. And so, yes, it probably was her finest moment.
But I'd always say that. I always say this, and I'll say this until... people always say, no, she's a crap actress. Quite frankly, she's not a bad actress. She's not brilliant, not great, whatever. Yeah. But then again, Sylvester McCoy's not a good actor either, right? The only problem with Jodie is that she is under bad management. If they started off with good management, good people that knew what sci-fi was all about, people that didn't have the agenda, people that treated her like a female, made the character an actual female instead of this in-between crap, then we might have got a good Doctor out of her. But unfortunately, we know what we got. You know what I mean? So
that set me on a journey. That moment, a broader journey where I thought, because I genuinely love the Doctor Who fan base, even though they're a complex and miserable lot out there. In the nicest way they are. But I know the Doctor Who fan base very, very well. I know why they are as they are. A lot of them very socially awkward people, and they're band together for various different reasons, and that's fine. But with this moment, what I had to realize was that what I was feeling was subjective to me. Other people were feeling completely different things for completely different reasons, and I had to respect that and not get on board with that, and not to abandon my beliefs and not to speak with my voice, but to respect other people's voices too, and understand and empathize. And so I actually chose originally to take some positives from that, but I felt that the more positives that I took from it, the more liberties the BBC took with willing fans, and it became impossible to ignore in the end. And then it just became a massive chorus because all the studios started doing it, and before we knew it, you know, all of pop culture was pretty much weaponized, like a big minefield where nobody can really speak. No, there are no creative ideas truly out there, which, as the Mega Geek has said over and over and over again. And now the cultural landscape is really quite a barren place. The most to an extent which I certainly haven't ever seen it before in a lifetime of following geek culture.
I keep saying that, look, you know, fans don't realize they have the power. I'm pretty convinced that the majority of Doctor Who fans are the ones that don't like what's happening with that. All they have to do is stop watching. That's all they have to do. But you know what people are like when it comes to fandom. Do you know what I mean? I have to complain.
Stop talking about it. Unfortunately,
we
broke that rule today.
But no, because I know how passionate Dan is about Doctor
Who. I
know.
know.
Well, at least now we're talking about it, so we got that extra level of abstraction. Tomorrow we can start.
But you've got to process stuff. You can't just cut it off and cauterize it. You've sort of got to reach a place in yourself where you can, if need be, say goodbye. Or at least, and you can still function in society and in a fandom in particular, because you know I was at a point where, you know, do I carry on? I hadn't been podcasting very long, but I wasn't. I was there to talk about a broader subject than that, to a broader section of people than that. I enjoyed doing it. So the fact is, you know, was I going to run at that challenge and meet it head on, or was I just going to scrap the whole idea and go back to doing something else or find another, you know? And I chose to run at it head on. And I was, you know, I mean, Gary Beekler talks about how his sort of journey through it on the Nerdrotic channel, and I had almost exactly the same time as Gary was going through that. I was going through the same thing on the Type 40 podcast, and you know, all my episodes are actually up to date. This will get the plug in. All the episodes of Type 48 Doctor Who podcast are on the Fandom podcast.
There will be a link. I'll post a link.
I won't do the spiel. But what's very exposing, genuinely, what's very exposing is the fact that week by week, as that stuff actually happened and as the episodes rolled out, you can hear me. And now I listen to them, it sounds like somebody else. So I find it quite unusual to hear those episodes back now. But you can hear somebody wrestling with this turmoil, trying their hardest, and gradually sort of emerging from the rubble of the mess.
Because you care, though, isn't it? You care, don't you?
Yeah.
You're passionate and you care.
What we need is big stars.
What we need is a fan film, mate.
No,
fan film with a 22-second
fan film
promo.
What we need,
second promo.
What we need is Hollywood bigwigs to actually come out and talk about this cancer that's growing through our entertainment. They need to step up. These people, and there's thousands of actors that disagree with what's going on in entertainment now. They should step up. They don't realize that there's power in numbers. They should organize themselves, step up, because Hollywood is driven by stars, right? If the majority of the stars disagree with what's going on and they make a stand, you're going to see some change. But fucking hell, are they cowards? I'm telling you right now. They're all cowards.
You can see the precarious situation that they're in.
Passion.
But keeping silence, eventually they come for you. This is the thing about cancel culture and about that side of the aisle. Eventually, it doesn't matter who you align with. Look at J.K. Rowling. She was the queen of social justice warriors, and they've tried to eat her alive. The only reason why she isn't cancelled is she's got too much money. She's like Ricky Gervais. You can't cancel somebody like that.
Well, there you go. Big stars. If they're big stars,
would she care though? Would she care?
I think she does care. I think she does care. Yeah. I think she's quite I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, J.K. Rowling is somebody who I don't agree with about many, many things. But I respect her. I respect what she's done. I respect the fact that she means well and all those things. But none of that seems to really have any clout with anybody anymore. Or certainly the people on that side of the aisle. That it's a mob. I know it's a cliche.
It's a lynch mob.
It is mob mentality, and I don't understand why mob mentality is now tolerated.
Didn't Rowan Atkinson brush upon this the other week by saying they're just medieval lynch mobs?
Yeah, lynch mob.
And then they tried to cancel him, didn't they?
They cancelled him for complaining about cancellers.
Yeah.
How dare you accuse us of trying to cancel you? We're going to cancel him for that. Get him, everyone. He called us a mob.
He basically said it was everybody's right to have free speech, but these internet medieval lynch mobs are going round suppressing free speech and cancelling people who have got an opinion.
I know. But you know what? Seriously, though, these actors need to step up. They need to step up, organize themselves, because they have a lot of power in Hollywood, and move this crap out of our entertainment. Look, I'm all for diversity and seeing more black people on screen. Always been there. But what I'm not up for is taking an established character and changing the gender or their ethnicity. That's what I'm not up against.
Yeah, no, because you mentioned that earlier, and I think that's worth bringing up, supporting, underscoring, or whatever, at the risk of repeating. But you're right,
go on, mate.
Because they're not doing it. The creators, they're not creating, as you say, the consistent pattern that we're seeing is they're taking established franchise, your Star Wars, your Star Trek, your Doctor Who, and having a contrived change, as opposed to The Expanse, which is a new property, unless you're of course with the books. And
apparently, sorry, Cockney, may I just interrupt? Apparently,
I love being interrupted.
Just hold your thought. Apparently, Robert Meyer Burnett's been moaning about The Expanse, saying that it's gone woke within like 3 episodes, and it's just totally killed it. Carry on.
Okay, well, news just in then, but yes, I don't know if it's a coincidence that those two things. It's a new property, and it allows it has diversity without being contrived. Good diversity, good wokeness in a good way. To get deeper into it, because I follow the author, which is actually 2 authors on Twitter, and they're basically self-confessed woke, and I find that interesting because it's almost like it becomes. I'm almost starting to see like woke in our kind of counter culture. Wokeness is almost a bad thing, and they're teaching me you can have good wokeness, but it's how you do it. I don't know. I'm vaguing my point out. You know what I mean? It's not like we're against diversity, but it's how you do it. If you do diversity for the sake of diversity, reverse racism is still racism, that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. But if it's natural, so especially for something like science fiction, where I think it's absolutely valid that in the future, as Public Enemy put it, Fear of a Black Planet, we're all going to mix a bit more, and there's just going to be 78,000 shades of chocolate rather than just black and white people, which I think should be a good thing. And then they, although they admittedly use allegory, which Gary points out that J.R. Tolkien says allegory bad. I like to view the Belters as Belters and the Martians as Martians. But that's the whole thing about intention perception. They're allowed to intend it as the Earthlings are what the Europeans, and the Martians are going to be the Americans, and so on and so on. I don't know, optional allegory. I know, I'm sorry. I've been with
that's all right.
I'm vaguing this out. Normally, I get to a point.
He's just got up. To be fair, I woke him up before.
Yeah, that was good.
You woke him up.
Oh,
wow.
You've tied it in together. I'm woken. I've had 4 hours sleep.
Well done, Ian. Well done.
Nice. You saved me there because I was fluffing.
That's why we get you on here, mate. Well done.
I was asleep, but now I'm waking up.
You've stimulated him, mate. You've stimulated him.
I am. I'm standing up. The coffee's kicking in. I'm pacing around the room. Oh, don't trip over the soldier.
Just going back to the kind of forced woke stuff. Star Trek 4 popped in my head, where at the beginning there's one of the Federation ships that's been approached by the probe, and there's a black female captain, and that technically is woke, isn't it? But
but it was done.
Yes, and that's my point. Whereas if Klutzman did it, there'd be press conferences and
he's already done it.
Statements and that's the difference.
He's done it with Discovery. Discovery's in as I said, after second season. Look, the reason why I'm not watching, I didn't watch the third season of Discovery is for 2 reasons. Actually, for 3 reasons. One is because it was very, very feminine, gender driven, which is not fair on any side if one side overloaded. Secondly, I do not like the girl that's playing
Here you go, Cockney.
Purely because of how she's portrayed. I really dislike her. Secondly, the actual storytelling and the script writing was so bad that it was one scene I had to close my eyes because it was so bad.
Oh,
not going through that
Thanks,
again.
Tupac, by the way. Sorry.
Not going through that again. Not going. That's why I didn't see the third one, because the third one looks like.
But
I only watched the finale last night. When did that air? Nearly a month ago, and I've been putting it on weeks.
But the entire I bailed out episode 3, but I've heard about the what caused the burn. What a load of old bollocks!
I even did a video about that, and I've got one of my famous reviews.
What a load of old
like
garbage!
Someone having a blood before
Fucking
you say
shite.
Pablo Hidalgo. The universe exploded. Ridiculous.
It is, isn't it? Absolutely. The whole concept of Discovery is completely and utterly crap. You know, it started off well, but then it just nosedived. And
I'm really seeing The Expanse and Discovery as
Keith is a better man than I.
I mean, I haven't listened to the last couple of his podcasts, so I don't know what was said about it on there. But I'm forming my views, and I will talk about the Discovery finale on my channel.
I always accuse Keith of sitting on the fence when it comes to you've got to have an opinion on something. You can't sit on the fence all the time. You know, you can be. I'm not asking him to be rude or anything like that, but sitting on the fence doesn't help anyone's perspective over things. Do you know what I mean? The whole point of having an opinion is to learn what's going on around you, and then you can evolve from there. But to sit on the fence, you don't evolve at all. You
don't have an opinion. You can't change your opinion.
That's right. Yeah. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Do you know what I mean? So
classic, quite nice.
There you go.
He bought the merch as well, didn't he? He bought the T-shirt.
Well, he's a collector, and he's a complete-ish.
To be fair, I think the T-shirt works great. To be fair, on a design level.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
It's brilliant, but it's just the rest of it.
He's one of my best friends, and God bless him and all that. But if he likes Discovery, who am I to tell him that? It's shit?
Good on him. Yeah,
good on him. So there you go. Anyway.
He's wrong, but
well,
Ian.
In our opinion, of course, I think Star Trek 1 was one of the worst movies ever made. Personally, I thought it was really bad. I mean, years later, I watched it again. I thought it was okay, but it's still not
the motion picture.
It's a masterpiece compared to today, mate.
Motion pictures.
Well, like the Mandalorian's a masterpiece compared to the Blandalorian, but compared to the shite sandwiches they've been serving up for 3 years.
The thing is, though, stuff
at least it's food.
with these franchises that we love so much, it's down to the individual when we
it is
when we either get dragged into the light or walk into the light, or when we abandon hope, and when we draw the line and say, you know what, compared to an evening. I mean, I was talking to, because Keith and the Rabbi and I, we carried on with the podcast that we've been doing, Warp Drive, on my channel, almost to the bitter end of Discovery Season 3. And I said to them both that out of the, I think it was 10 episodes we got to at that point, 11 episodes, sorry. I said 9 out of these 11 episodes have ruined my evening. And you think
really?
Yeah, and when you think on those terms, think, God, that's nine evenings of my life.
You'll never get it back. You'll never get that time back, mate.
And I think there comes a point where, I can only blame them for so long, where it's actually on me.
Yeah.
And okay, as content makers, there's a certain responsibility to be aware of the big three. And I always stick by that. Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Star Wars. There is a bit, if we're out there giving opinions on pop culture, those are the big three. Maybe, certain other possible fourths have emerged. Sometimes Game of Thrones, at the MCU, it's debatable. But I think with those three, you have to at least be conscious of and aware of what's going on, where they're going with those three things and why. But I'm not gonna rag on anybody who wants to continue placing faith that it could get better. But there's, I'm certainly not going to say you're not a real Star Trek fan because Mr. Brown, you bailed on it week, whatever it was. Because at the end of the day, we've only got one life.
You know what though? Even though I didn't like Star Trek: The Motion Picture, what I praise it for is not copying the thing at the time. Star Wars was huge at the time, and you thought they would copy that kind of format, but it didn't. It stuck to what it was, which was Star Trek, and you've got to give them that at least.
Unlike J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, which was trying to be Star Wars, and then when he did Star Wars, he dumbed down Star Wars. So So it was basically always going a level dumber.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep Star Trek abstract. If we want pew pew pew, then we'll go Star Wars. Star Trek's meant to be think pew pew pew, isn't it?
Do you think he's going to dumb down Superman?
It'll dumb down anything. It'll dumb down Dumb and Dumber. Can you imagine JJ doing Dumb and Dumber? Cut the lens flares, few jokes.
I'm choosing to again. I've still got a little faith in JJ that he may, because it's been a
Bless your
long time.
heart.
I would like to think yes that he.
Well, compared to Klutz,
if it wasn't for JJ Abrams, I don't think we'd have Matt Reeves making huge mainstream movies, and I really like Matt Reeves' output. I think that to lay all of the evils at JJ's door, even those in Star Wars, I think he did a pretty decent job with Star Wars.
I agree. I think JJ.
I'm going to disagree.
His attentions for the Star Wars trilogy was okay.
They were noble.
No, he killed Han. Fuck him.
Okay, no, but the thing is that we don't know whether he was whether he was bullied by Harrison Ford.
I thought that.
The fact is, how would you prefer Han Solo to have died, on screen or off screen? Because one way or another, that character was going to die. Because Harrison.
Well, that's the thing. I would, in an ideal world, I wouldn't want him. Well, for me, I don't want him dead. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, George Lucas, told Harrison Ford, "You're not going to die," and they negotiated his fee, and he came back. Do you know what I mean?
As we discussed, that's accidentally what made Empire Strikes Back so great. Is fucking Harrison Ford dicking about, wanting to leave.
Dumb and Dumber. Actually, the movie was quite smart. Which movie are you talking about?
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. No, to be fair, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
It's a good film, to be fair.
I freely admit I haven't seen it, so you got me there.
Somebody like JJ Abrams, who's that powerful and that ubiquitous now. I mean, it is worrying when somebody has that much power and he's over so many things.
Me too.
But I'd like to think that he would look at something like Superman and look at it as an opportunity, not just to stamp his view on it, but who can I bring in? Who can I work with on this to make something really special? To make something that's going to endure this,
Yeah, but he's up against the woke mob, isn't he? He's up against an agenda, and that's going to be.
But isn't his wife something to do with the Me Too movement as well? And Gary's kind of going off his
big onto that.
And he's right. Gary's right. Everything that he said.
Yeah, and there's some twisted that she's blackmailing people. Basically,
double standards.
Double fucking standards. But
if they're going to do Superman, they have to literally make Superman. This stupid Zack Snyder version of Superman is Batman. That's what he did with when he made him Batman.
Do you know what? Actually, it was directly influenced by you, Mega Geek. After we had that chat about Superman, all the episodes of Mr. Brown's kind of blurring into one. But we were talking about the music. And so I just basically did a YouTube search, Superman music, and it was just the advert for Superman. But I have to admit, I was almost filling up. It's just the sweet innocence of that first film, Christopher Reeve's performance, the positivity of the music. And it made me think, because, I like Watchmen as much as the next person. In fact, I'm a big fan of Alan Moore. But we didn't want 25 years of everything being dark and cynical forever.
It's fine as a starting point, but you can't put something there and leave it there and expect people to continue. I mean, even Batman can't work just like that. It's always got to evolve because times evolve.
Yeah, the reason why the comics work when Superman met Batman was because they were both polar opposite. Batman lived in the dark and he believed in a certain kind of justice. Superman believed in the purity of life. And
that will give you that contrast. That will give you the frisson that will make a good story, right? So
why would you want to make Superman like Batman? It doesn't make any sense at all. And I think Richard Donner had the right idea when he did his version of Superman. He was very much flag waving. He was very much red and blue. He was very much Superman. He was very much justice in the American way. That's what Superman.
I think at the time, even 11 years old. When did Superman come? 79, wasn't it? Like 9 years old. Onto the facts.
Because I was watching. After we discussed Superman the other day, I went on YouTube and looked at a few Superman documentaries.
So you did the same thing
regarding Richard Donner as well, and some genuinely interesting stuff.
Yeah.
See, from tying into what the Spacebook earlier, just commenting as a parent, I had a shocking moment earlier today as a parent. I realised that my son has seen Captain Marvel and hasn't seen Superman. I thought, I fucked up there. So basically, I'm gonna make sure. In fact, I'm looking through Blu-rays now. I'm gonna get that Superman down, your son. That's part of your basic education.
On that note, gentlemen, I'm afraid I have to duck out now because I'm going to be recording the podcast in a not too distant future. So I've got to duck out and start. I've got to eat and prepare for that. I've had a good lunch chewing the fat with you guys. Thanks,
Daniel Sam. Thank you, mate.
Nice to meet you.
It's been an honour, mate. Cheers, pal. It's been an honour.
Pleasure.
You take care.
Good to meet you, Cockney Spock, and I'll speak to you later, Ian.
Yeah. See you later, mate. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hello. And he's gone. Now we can.
And he's gone.
Now we've got 3 icons. Oh, the imbalance.
Okay, yeah, we got a few questions in the chats.
Oh, chat's blowing up. Can anyone remember when they first heard the phrase "virtue signal"?
That's a new phrase. That's a new phrase to me. I know what it is, but that's yeah, relatively.
Probably Ethan Van Sciver. Probably, I think for me it was about Last Jedi, and then Ethan Van Sciver. That was my entry. It's all become a blur now, but there was a moment where I just started getting into YouTube, and whenever we crossed that line, I thought I'm doing more YouTube watching of people talking about the films than the actual films. So I'd say roughly 3 years ago, but that's a educated guess. I couldn't really tell. Yeah. You're right. I don't really know.
Yeah. It's something I've just picked up on. I know what it is, but yeah, everything just seems to be broken down into its component parts these days.
The thing is, though, you've got to try and hold on to sanity. That's
I gave up on that years ago.
But you've got to try and hold on to sanity. The way these people are getting on everybody thinks that Twitter is the fountain of truth. It's not. You got a bunch of idiots.
Fountain of hate.
Yeah, that's all it is. And I can't believe a huge organization like Hollywood and the actual film industry is listening to these idiots and allowing this
data driven.
Yeah, I don't understand why this is happening, but maybe it was planned a long time ago. Who knows?
Here you go. Question.
Han Solo should have lived. What was wrong with letting the established characters retire happily and walking off into the sunset? Yeah.
Yes.
That's Hollywood, mate. That's Hollywood.
Yeah, definitely.
It was Harrison Ford who wanted him killed off, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you shouldn't allow an actor to dictate what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
exactly. Like
he's an employee after all.
A human. We're like, he'd stand in the corner, say your lines, mumble your lines forward, look pretty, fuck off into your aeroplane. I know I've said it before, but
There you go, another one. This is turning into the Demon Side Synthwave show. Just bear with me.
I know he's passionate about this.
He's getting his money. Demon, put a £500 super chat with these, mate.
Superman should be brightened up. Yes, in a way. Yes, this is the feeling. Totally. Yeah,
we need a bright, optimistic Superman in 2021.
That's the feeling I was getting.
Cavill doing it.
I think
JJ directing.
No, I'm looking through my Blu-rays now. I think I'm going to get more out of seeing the original Superman,
Donner, executive consultant,
than I did it originally. I think we need that original. Do you know what? If I was a Hollywood exec, I'd
need you, Richard Donner.
Superman. We need the original Superman. We need you, Superman.
The thing is,
Christopher Reeve.
So the Superman the movie, right, isn't a perfect movie, obviously, because it has a huge gaping hole towards the end.
But the
whole of the movie, right, and you can see it has heart, but also it's so well put together and so well performed as well. The way they treated Krypton completely different to the way they treated Smallville, to the completely different to the way they treated Metropolis. There's 3 movies in there if you look carefully.
Do you know what? That's spot on.
The Krypton music is amazing.
3 movies in one. I want to jump on that because it's one of the like yourself, Mega Geek, my dad passed away, and but I was thinking in hindsight, one of the few times we actually had a pop culture moment is when we saw Superman, and he was saying that basically the first third of the film where where Clark Kent leaves his mum, and there's a bit of a sunset, and you're saying that feels like the ending of a movie. And I know it's just so rare for my dad to get into commenting on films. I just thought that's not a bad observation. So you're right, it was 3 films in one, but in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, it had also all 3 segments had a different tone. So the first, the Krypton scene was very, very solid and serious, and about life and death situation and what they're going to do. Loyalty towards your fellow men, but they want to save their son. Blah 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 blah. Then you come to Smallville, where even though that segment is quite short, it's brilliant. The way it's shot, the sunlights, the Americano, the 50s. Clark Kent discovering his powers or trying to keep his powers away from his friends, blah blah blah, and his dad dies, which is heartbreaking.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a little film.
Yeah, there was. Sorry, there was. Go on, Cockney. Go on. Sorry, no.
It's just me rifling through me Blu-rays. I've realised it's Superman. I've not even got Superman on Blu-ray. It's actually Superman 2 because it is the Richard Donner cut, the version you've never seen.
I've never seen it. Well, it's one of the films I've been meaning to see, just never got around to seeing it.
I was going to say, well, the title's for you. It says literally on the cover, the versions you've never seen, which is ridiculous because I bought the Blu-ray, so I have seen it. So
there was a documentary which I watched on YouTube, which has just been posted recently about Superman 1 and 2 and how effectively the Salkinds
they destroyed it.
They destroyed it. Yeah. They destroyed Donner's vision because it was basically they shot 2. It was basically one film, but it was so long.
But the thing is though that look, I've worked with producers that don't have a clue, right? And the Salkinds are those kind of producers. And the worst thing about them is they don't think that they are the problem. That's the biggest problem with them.
And that is the problem.
Yeah, and that is the problem. They literally don't think they're the problem. They think they're the savior. And we don't realize what they're doing is wrecking stuff because of their ego. And that's the Salkinds. And I worked with a producer on Fallen Angels, and he was a Canadian fella, and he was the same thing. He didn't know what he was doing at all. When we say to him, you need to do, I'll give you an example, right? There's a scene, right, in this film I'm directing where you do a shot where somebody's in a car, right? So you put you have a low loader, you drive the car on the low loader, and this truck pulls the car, and you have the cameras just past the bonnet, and you shoot people talking in the car with mics and stuff. So he had this American car, it was like a Thunderbird that came in, and me and Alan, the DOP, said, "Look, that Thunderbird's not going to fit on that low loader at all because it's too big. Because you're talking about an American car here, and we're in England." And you know what he said to us? He said, "You're an idiot. Go away. Just leave me alone. We're going to put it on there. You don't know what you're talking about." So we just we just sat in the green room. 3 hours later, he came out and said he couldn't fit on the low loader. We're like, yeah. But it's all based on ego. Those kind of producers, they refuse to tell. It's like politicians. They refuse
like
to
my dad.
They can't accept reality. Like your teacher as well. They can't accept facts. I can see the through line here. See, that's your problem, Mega Geek, is you basically burst people's fantasies with your pin of reality.
No, there's loads of times when I've been wrong, of course, but at least I have the guts to step back and say, yeah, okay, well, let's try it.
Yeah,
The fact you're saying those words now, those producers, if they're on here, they'll be going, "No, I've never been wrong. I'm perfect."
Well, we've got 5 viewers, the most we've ever had. So, hello, viewers.
A 600% increase.
We're getting there.
Mathematically impossible.
For the viewers at home, please like, share, and subscribe if you like this type of stuff. Basically, the channel is about all this.
Point,
so,
see, that is a
click that button, guys.
The tipping point has started. It'll be 50, then it'll be 500, then it'll be 10,000. Then we're going to be in trouble.
Like I said, with Richard Donner, right? Richard Donner had a perfect plan for Superman, and he got spoiled by those 2 idiots that didn't know what they were doing. And if Richard Donner was left to complete Superman 1, which was his plan, then
it was rushed out, wasn't it?
Yeah, no. Well, what happened was the ending in the bit where he saves Lois. That's the ending of Superman 2, because they shot that. They stuck it together. That's why the whole story doesn't work.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that,
because the studio was saying, "Look, we want to see something, and we want it out there at Christmas."
God, he's good.
So they had to kind of fix it. That's okay. Well, what we're going to do? We shot the ending of Superman 2. Okay, let's just try and meld those bits together. And that's what they did. So, you know, yeah, I remember.
So has the Donna cut got that on at the end?
I don't know. I've never seen the Donna.
I don't think so. I'll homework a check. Do you know what? I've realised I've got to buy
homework for you, mate.
I've got to buy Superman, so that's going to take a few days. But then I can watch them as a double bill. That's
Also,
probably the best way to watch them, eh?
What the best thing about watching the making of is how there's that one scene where he flies Lewis around, you know, in New York.
Lewis and Lois.
Lane, and he dropped her back at on her balcony.
Yeah.
He says goodbye to him all in one shot as Superman flies off, and then the camera follows her, and the door opens, and there's Clark Kent, right? And when I watched it originally when I was a kid, I thought, how the fuck did they do that? You know, it's just one shot. But then they showed you how they did
magic of film.
Back projection shot, wasn't it, of Superman flying away?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I think I might need. I think we all, everybody in the chat who's viewing, I think we all need to revisit Superman
and Superman 2,
just for a feel good film,
homework.
Just to feel great, just to feel.
I reckon.
Homework viewing in the chat. We all should watch Superman. Christopher Reeve, amazing.
Yeah, and they've edited it today as well. They don't have the bit where you hear the girl getting slapped when he rescued the cat out of the tree. They took that out. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, for God's sakes, leave the film alone.
That is one of the many arguments.
Physical media.
They can't come around your house and swap the discs out.
Physical media.
I've got Superman 2 in my hands, and they'll get rid of it out of my hand when they pluck it from my cold dead fingers.
Yeah. Superman 2 I didn't really like, tell you the truth. I liked the first one. I didn't like the second one was okay. But I as even when I was a kid watching that, I could see the inconsistencies, like the different photography. You had Jeffrey Arnsworth for the first movie, and it was mixed because they shot bits with Jeffrey Arnsworth. So they stuck all those bits together. You can tell the different shots. Different shots look different, and you know.
You always say,
but you noticed that I know.
Say
he's got the eye,
At 8 years old, going, oh yeah, I quite like that, and you'll go, oh,
he's got the eyes.
The direction was a bit inconsistent, the cinematography. Bloody hell, Mega Geek, you're only 9 years old, yeah, but I can see it now.
He's a very clever boy.
You were destined to be this.
Yeah.
I see it. I watch the making of as well, and you know, and as everybody was disappointed when they got rid of Donna. All of them, they were really, really upset. So, and don't even talk to me about Superman 3. Superman 3 was just ridiculously bad, I thought.
But then compared to 4,
there was a documentary. As I said, the documentary they were going to be making a Superman 5 as well, but it all kind of fell through.
Well, 4 was shite. I don't think I even saw it.
Yeah.
The nuclear war one.
Apparently why 4 was so bad was they had got the funding in place to make a good movie, and then they
spent it on cocaine.
And then they effectively halved the budget, and the budget was transferred to another film, wasn't it?
Yeah, Masters of the Universe was transferred.
Yeah, Masters of the
Universe. So that they had less. Also, the idea was to do Supergirl.
There you go, guys.
The third movie was meant to have Supergirl and Superman in it, but it just didn't work out that way. So that's why they made Supergirl.
I saw some on the documentary. I think Christopher Reeve looked genuinely upset and pissed off how he loved the role and he loved the films.
Yeah.
And he genuinely loved doing it.
Do you mind if I read Swap Shop's comment?
Yeah, go on.
I'm jumping in because I think it bears. Superman should be bright and optimistic in a world that is anything but. His suit should be a vivid flag of hope, not a dirty rag of cynicism.
Nice.
Gold clap on that. Agreed. I'll tell you should come on the show sometime.
Only one thing I'd like to pick up with Demon Side Wave on that comment is there's no £500 attached to that super chat, mate. So next time, pal, come on, get your hands in your pockets, son.
Oh, I just had a thought. Why don't we have Mr. Brown Swap Shop? You know, have Apple, Mac, want iPhone or something. let's do Swap Shop right here. Come on,
really am desperate to buy a new Mac. I'm gonna have to commit soon.
It's a shame I had to get rid of all my Macs last year because of me at the time financial circumstances. Otherwise, I'd have some spare.
If I was in
No
charge,
longer.
I'd get his pants back on at the red.
Oh, you
pants.
said that.
I beg your pardon.
Now
Pants
you know.
on the outside, pants on the outside debate. Because I must admit, I didn't want to say it at the time. Even as a kid, I was like, "Why has he got his pants on the outside?" I'm happy that the pants went on the inside.
I hope
Although,
JJ's watching this.
I found there was a reason though. I didn't. It was one of those ones when you finally find out, it's like, oh, it's because it was based on wrestlers. But then it begs the question: why do wrestlers have their pants on the outside? Don't know.
It was just a thing, wasn't it? I guess.
Just a thing.
I just think that mucking around with someone's costume, especially a classic costume as Superman's, is just
and especially
bad.
the pants.
You know, he's wearing a onesie now. Do you know what I mean?
Don't mess with a man's pants.
I think this documentary, which I watched with the evolution of Superman, I don't even think the original Superman had all the kind of Superman powers. It evolved over time.
Yes, hence he could leap over small buildings. You'd be thinking, well, why would you have to? He can fly.
And I think it was something to do with the creators. Did the creators' characters? Sorry, the creators of the character, something to do with their parents got robbed or in real life.
Or I think they were.
There was something going on with the creators on a personal level, which kind of went into the Superman story. So, it was. I'm sure it was a recent documentary that somebody's posted.
Siegel and Schuster, isn't it? He was almost.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
Social justice warrior before avant lettre.
Yes.
Before the term got invented, but in a good way. He was more socialist, more of a man of the people, something like that.
Yeah.
Where now you could almost argue the opposite. He became almost fascist. So he's been all around the political spectrum.
He's been around the block.
What's interesting about
he's been about that. He's a dirty boy.
The way they portray Superman, especially the Zack Snyder one, is that they missed everything about what's great about Superman in that Man of Steel.
You've got to wonder about a director who's got literally snide in his name.
But I loved when
you're Snide, I'm Snyder. Sorry.
Smallville. I don't know if you watched Smallville, but there was a point where it looks like Clark was sent to conquer Earth. That's the reason why he got sent to Earth. And Jor-El was saying, you're stronger than everybody else. You should be, the king of that planet and stuff like that. So that's one aspect that hasn't been explored really in Superman. But that's a bit dark, though. I like to think of Superman being sent here as a savior rather than a ruler. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah, more than ever. That's the thing. I think in my teenage years, I probably thought I was a bit of a Boy Scout. That's why I never got into the comics. I was like, oh, X-Men, that's a bit more edgy. But as this is the theme that's coming up, I think, as Swap Shop says, in this dark world, we need a bit of a Boy Scout superhero.
Going back to Superman 4,
the quest for plotline.
Yeah.
Well, this documentary said that the story wasn't all that bad. Actually, it was just having the funding ripped from underneath it.
Oh, so it just looked like a B movie.
Do you think that was a very, very in cinema history a very, very big mistake?
Listen, they had a really good franchise there, and they spoiled it because of lack
of
imagination and stupidity.
You can't cut corners, you can't cut budgets and get away with it.
Fabulous actors in the main roles as well.
Yep, Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder.
God bless Christopher Reeve. God bless. Such a great.
Just so perfect for it.
Just
by Superman.
Just seems such a fantastic bloke on a personal level.
Yeah, and it's a dual role. I mean, he nailed it with Clark Kent, and he nailed it as Superman, and that's the whole thing. It's one man being two men.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, if I was in charge of making Superman, it would be very, very difficult to. The first thing I would do is make it completely different to Zack's one, but also make him hopeful, make the whole thing hopeful. Because when you have the team up between Batman and Superman, that'll be amazing because you got one light and you got one darkness. So
that's a film I'd want to watch.
That's what I'm saying. And they didn't do that.
We've got a message from Beyond the Grave.
Tupac.
Designed to give Jewish people hope during World War II.
Yes.
I think this documentary kind of mentioned something along these lines. Yes.
I didn't want to go straight into.
He's very
angle, but it was Siegel and
knowledgeable. Is Tupac.
He knows his stuff from Beyond the Grave.
But you know what, right? What was interesting about Superman the movie was that we all knew who Superman was, but when we knew what he could do in the comics. But when he caught that helicopter,
yeah,
you were like, "This is Superman." Do you know what I mean?
this is the shit.
Yeah, when he caught that helicopter, I remember I was in the cinema, right? And I remember watching that film. And when he caught the helicopter, everybody got on their feet and they started
tingles.
cheering.
I'm getting tingles now, mate.
Those are the moments we live for. That is cinema, isn't it? That's the feeling you want when you buy your ticket.
And that is why we get the Mega Geek on this channel for tingles, ladies and gents.
I'll tell you what, Mega Geek, you should make a film. You should be a filmmaker.
Yeah, maybe.
Bing!
Maybe you should do a web series.
Do a Doctor Who. You should do a Doctor Who show.
Yeah, what about a Doctor Who fan film? I know you're into Doctor Who.
With perhaps a 22-second promo.
You guys are terrible.
We are awful.
But you love it. You love it.
Well, I'll tell you what. In all seriousness, every time I talk to you, I get more and more pumped for it. I want to see it. I want to see what you're going to come up with.
He's pumping me.
As I said, we'll find out, because as I said, a lot of people talk, but when it comes to actually doing is another matter. So I am definitely going to make that trailer, and whatever anyone thinks of it, it's going to be kind of my take on the Doctor, and then let's see if anybody wants me to make a fan film. That's the only logical way, as far as I'm concerned, to approach the situation, as far as I'm concerned. So
are you hearing this, BBC? Are you hearing?
The BBC? I do.
Here we go, boys.
What's this? Not sure. But Marvel, right? They were. Obviously, I prefer Marvel.
But you know what? Comics.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I prefer Marvel more so than DC. I'll tell you why. Because Marvel, DC. Let's just take the letters page. I don't know if you guys read comics when you were young.
Yes, I was going to bring up, but yes. I
remember they used to have a letters page. Right, they used to have a letters page. You used to write in a letter, and if by luck, maybe somebody would answer your letter, and it'd be on the letters page, right?
Yeah,
which is great honor. I remember reading DC comics, and in the letters page, somebody would go, "In panel 5, Superman's costume is in blue," and then the editor would go, "Well, we're really sorry about that. We'll correct it next time in the reprint." And then you read the Marvel's letters page, and somebody will go, "I didn't agree with you killing off Gwen Stacy," and the reply from Stanley would always be like, "Hey, Pilgrim, wow, it's really hard that, and he'd be really enthusiastic the way he would put that letter together, answering someone's." And that always kept me at Marvel, because I always felt Marvel was more for working class people. DC was kind of like the upper class comic book, but Marvel was more like Tiz was. Marvel was Tiz was. DC was a swap shop. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, nice analogy. Even though I watched Swap Shop, but I know what you mean. I was Marvel and Swap Shop, which is
Ian's
thing,
pumped.
but I get the analogy.
Just saying.
It's true.
Ian's pumped.
Indefinable thing. I can't remember the character, but there was basically I remember some new character coming out, and my friend and I, Lawrence, if he's out there, going, "Yep, looks like a DC character." So even just the art style, there was just something indefinable. Yeah, Marvel was more gritty. I guess that's the word for me. More gritty, and DC was more polished. That's how it seems.
Well, Superman was kind of almost perfect. He was handsome. He had a job on TV. I remember in the 70s he was a newscaster, and then but Peter Parker, he had no money. He was penniless. You know what I mean?
He was a freelancer. That was the difference. He was a struggling freelance photographer.
Freelancer, and he had to look after
that.
He had to look after his aunt. Do you know what I mean? And it was just
like
really
me.
Profound insight on 153.
Oh.
I never thought of that. Peter Parker was a freelancer. Clark Kent had a full-time job at his newspaper. Nice.
Peter lived in a small, little, crappy little home, and he had to make his own costume in Queens.
Like me.
Do you know what I mean? And it was hard times for him, but he was a hero. He saved hundreds of thousands of people's lives.
Even that, we know pretty much that Metropolis and Gotham, even though they're two different cities, they're both kind of metaphors for New York City. But that was the difference where with the Marvel universe, it actually was New York City. So DC was on this kind of effectively a parallel universe. There's no real Metropolis or Gotham City. So that was a specific, and that I don't know. When you start looking at those things, you think, oh, I want to get into writing and be a professional geek, because you start thinking these things through. So yeah, I like the fact that Marvel was set in real cities, basically.
They tried to connect with their audience, didn't they? Like with Peter Parker. Peter Parker was a teenager, and I remember when I was a teenager reading Spider-Man, I could connect with him being bullied and him really skinny and being a geek and stuff like that, and and all the jocks hated him and picked on him, and what I mean, and the girl fancy him and stuff like that. You could relate to something like that, and then you look at the polar opposite, which is Superman. He's this handsome geezer. He's got Lois Lane. He's he's
powerful.
He can leap a tall building with a single bound. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was almost perfect, Superman. He had his problems, obviously, but not weren't
as much as Spider-Man.
Yeah, Peter Parker was screwed.
Your friendly neighbor, just even the name, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
I've just thought, why do all the superheroes or characters have this kind of same sounding initials at the beginning of their names, like Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Peter Parker?
Alliteration. I think someone mentioned that.
What's the thinking behind that?
I think it's more than Lana Lang, Lois Lane.
Yeah.
I think Stan Lee went through a time where he wanted the first and last name to have the same letters. So Bruce Banner, Peter Parker.
It's well done, though. It's well done.
It's a subtle pattern.
But it's well done.
There'll be people in the audience going, I never noticed
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
So that's what he went through at one point. And when Stanley was in charge of Marvel, he made that thing work. He didn't want to be in comics. He was a writer, wasn't he? He wanted to be a writer more so than anything. And and he gets thrust into this world, and he hated it at the beginning, but he ended up loving it towards the end, didn't he? So God bless him.
And now he's an icon for it. Rest his soul. Dr. Doom. Oh, I didn't think about that because his name is Victor, isn't it? Victor Von Doomcock.
Yeah. Victor Von Doomcock.
Yeah.
Screw you, Doomcock. Fuck you. Fantastic Four.
Well, it's going to be hard to make that film.
Reed Richards. Another one. Yeah. Ooh.
Maybe we should have a discussion about that another time, the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with that film. I really don't.
One day they'll make a good Fantastic Four film. One day.
Yeah. It's got to have a spin, though. It's got to have another spin on it. But hey,
I do want to see that Roger Corman one. I keep hearing now that it's the least crap one in hindsight.
It looks rubbish, though. It does. But...
Yeah, apparently it's cheesy, but it's just that the other big budgets, the ones with the bigger budget, just were shite. I haven't actually seen any of them. I've seen no Fantastic Four films ever.
Yeah, as I said, I was a huge comic book fan at one point. The reason why I like comics is it was so very close to films, when the panels and the way things were drawn and stuff like that. And when I was a kid, I used to read a lot of comics, but you can't read them now because they're all being voked and woked.
But people used to conflate comics with superheroes, and I think when people say comic movies, they really mean superhero movies. And what I liked is the fact that there are lots of science fiction comics, indie comics. And that was because I never liked superheroes. It was never a genre I was in. So I was in this weird position. I was into comics, and when I was
kind of with that,
So when I was growing up, I was like, I like comics, but not
Superman
superheroes.
though. It's Superman though, isn't it?
But but the thing is though, when I was, it got to a point where I got tired of Marvel and tired of DC, and then I discovered Deadline that had Tank Girl. And new it was like British punk comic. That's what it was when I discovered Deadline. I don't know.
That was around 89, but in 82, the one that got me started was Warrior magazine. But that's actually where V for Vendetta debuted, and Marvel Man, as it was then called, now Miracle Man. So the 80s were top and tail by two amazing British comic anthologies. Spot on there. I remember both. Warrior started me off. And I guess Deadline finished. That's when I started phasing out of comics. But good.
Yeah, I did as well. I phased out after. I mean, the only thing that brought me back was like, for instance, when I stopped reading Deadline because it just got crappy. Then I stopped reading comics. But then I went into Forbidden Planet one day, and I was like, let me just see if there's anything that gets my eye. And it was Sin City. I saw the comic of Sin City. I was like, this is amazing. And I got into Sin City. I got into that kind of tone of comics. Do you know what I mean?
Very strong graphically. I wasn't even a big fan of Frank Miller. I still think he's overrated, but can't deny it. Very strong graphic style. Very strong Japanese influence too. But definitely.
Yeah, I think he's a good writer. But hey,
I kind of get the feeling that could be another stream for another day talking about such things. But you know what, guys? I know we're on a roll.
Wrap up on 2 hours.
You know what, guys? We've genuinely
Fuck,
had
that
the
went
most.
quick.
I'm genuinely hoping this is a turning point for this channel because we've had
tipping point.
basically we've had 5 viewers from start to finish. So hopefully, sign of things to come. Guys, cheers. It's been genuinely good today. So
you've had 5
Cockney.
likes, so that means the 5 people are watching you.
Yeah.
Like, so there you
That's
go.
100%.
We've got our regulars in the chat, and obviously we're only as good as the people in the chat. So it's all about interaction and stuff. So cheers, guys.
No worries.
Mega Geek, thanks for turning up, mate.
That's all
brilliant,
right. No worries.
brilliant as always, mate. Cockney, cheers. You're a good man.
Cheers.
Everybody,
Love you both.
just like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Blah blah blah. We'll see you soon. 2 hours of goodness. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Yeah.
See you later. Bye.